everyone. Welcome back to the Talking Blondes. If you are a fellow and returning listener, you know me as Caitlin. But apparently, I also am named Doc Snoop Dogg. Yeah.
Snoop Dogg intern. Snoop Dogg residency.
We'll explain in a moment here. But I'm being joined by my beautiful, wonderful co-host Virginia, who is also now going by, what is it?
Professor Chocolate Bear.
I'm sorry, I can't. I can't. It is perfect for you, Virginia. It is perfect. So, yeah, what was that? Why are we so weird? Well, we can't answer that question, but we are huge Scrubs fans. And the other day, I was on Facebook, of course, and I was looking at random stuff, of course. And any other Scrub fans out there, our potential Scrub fans? Yeah, right. Hello. They're doing a reboot, all right, of our beloved show. And so there's all this stuff going on, randomly in like the pop culture media, all that stuff. And so there was this random thing that someone had put up where it's like, I don't know, you match up like your first initial with some name, and then you also match up like the month you were born with a name, or vice versa. It's one of the two. And so, of course, being me, I see, oh, okay, who am I? I gotta find out. And I'm Doc Snoop Dogg. And then I tag Virginia and she finds out hers, and it's just beautiful. Like, we're just so excited. And we realize this has nothing to do with our usual content, but it
Mhm.
makes us happy, right? It makes us very, very happy. And whether you are a Scrubs, what's the word for a Scrubs, like a super fan? Is
Scrubby. No,
Scrubby?
I don't
Scrub
know.
Daddy.
But if you are a fan of the show, then for those who know JD and Turk's special friendship, well, you've heard throughout the show that Turk is Chocolate Bear, JD is
Yes.
Vanilla Bear.
Yes.
So my hospital nickname is Professor Chocolate Bear, and so it's so fitting for Caitlin and I and our friendship being very much JD and Turk. But of course, for those who never saw the show and don't have any idea what we're talking about, the main point of bringing this up is what Caitlin just said: is it brings happiness,
Lots of
and
happiness.
that is what today's podcast episode is going to be.
Yes, so we may have given that topic away, but we did it in a fun way. And I think that's what it's all about. If we can't have fun talking about happiness, then we're doing it wrong. So, welcome to our episode. We are so excited to have you, whether you're a newbie or you've been with us since the very beginning. Welcome to the party. We are excited. And we are going to talk about happiness today. Happiness comes in all shapes and forms, and it looks very different. And we also know that being in your 20s, 30s, 40s, etc., happiness just it maybe isn't as easy as it was when you were a kid. It definitely isn't as easy. And it looks very different. So we're going to talk about all that stuff. We're going to talk about what happiness is. We're going to define it. I have some questions for Virginia that I'm going to get into in a little bit. We're also going to discuss where are the happiest people in the world living? What's that look like? And then we're going to talk about how are we getting it wrong?
Mm.
We always say we want to be happy. And I think this is a really good topic, just in general, for the beginning of the year, because, we think about how we just talked about resolutions, we talked about goals, we talked about
Mhm.
how, maybe this isn't really the best time of year to even have that kind of mindset, right? But so many of us start out a new year and we're like, yeah, this is my year. I'm going to be happy. Okay, well, what does that look like? And haven't you said that every year before this year? And why has that not worked? So we're going to
Mhm.
talk about that a little bit. And then we're going to move over to a happy note or happier note and talk about some hacks and some habits of the happiest people and what that looks like. because we don't want to end on a downer. There's always work that can be done, and we believe in self-improvement and just the bright side of things, right? So, without further ado, I'm going to get into some questions for you, Virginia. But first, just to go off of our Talking Blondes tradition, in the spirit of Talking Blondes, I don't know why I'm doing this with my hands. People who are watching, you're probably like, Caitlin, chill. I've only had one cup of coffee today, I promise. I don't know what my deal is.
Oh my
But
gosh.
anyways, I'm just excited to talk about
You're
happiness, guys.
happy.
I
You're
can't help it. But in true Talking Blondes form, we are going to go over a couple quotes. So the first one I have here is by Elizabeth Gilbert, who many of us recognize. She wrote Eat, Pray, Love. They made a movie about it a while back with Julia Roberts. Amazing.
Yes.
She's also written a lot of other wonderful, wonderful books, and she's just an amazing public speaker, and I love her. But anyways, this is a quote from Elizabeth Gilbert, and it goes like this. Happiness is the consequence of personal effort. You fight for it, strive for it, insist upon it, and sometimes even travel around the world looking for it. So, there's that. Second quote and last quote for right now. Slightly different tone, but I felt this was very impactful and it kind of hit for me in experiences that I've had in my life. And this is a quote by American journalist and author from the 20th century named Mignon McLaughlin. And the quote goes, "It's the most unhappy people who most fear change."
Mm.
So yeah,
Wow.
lot of thoughts I've had on that one. I know for me, I definitely have let myself get stuck in things because I don't like change,
Mhm.
and I will absolutely just get deeper and deeper into some horrible storm and rain cloud that's over my head, and it's not a fun feeling. So,
Yeah.
anyways, um,
Those are great quotes. I really do like Elizabeth Gilbert, and
mhm.
the book Eat, Pray, Love is so worth reading. The movie's okay, didn't really do it justice. It was more of a rom-com than this like deep spiritual life path that she took. Another quote from Eat, Pray, Love. I might misquote it, but the ruin is the road to transformation.
That's
I love
beautiful.
that so
So
much.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Oh, she's so wise.
she's
Maybe
very
she'll be on our
wise.
podcast one day.
Maybe one
Here's
day.
here's hoping.
Throwing it out there. But the
Yeah,
other
no.
quote you shared, Caitlin, I'm not familiar. Is that a female,
Yes,
male? Okay,
female.
female.
Yes.
And she
So
was a
she,
writer?
yes,
Yes.
she
Okay.
American journalist and author. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with her work, or you just
To
came
be
across that quote?
To be honest, I came across it in my research. I haven't read much of her work, but I just thought it was really powerful, and I think it's something that, I think the majority of us, we get
Yes.
comfortably miserable, is how I like to think of it. I know I've been that way, and
Hmm.
not a good thing. So
Yeah.
not a fun thing.
Her quote is very profound because it did have me thinking that exactly that when you stay stuck and you can't really pivot,
Hmm.
right? Because life really is all about pivoting to keep you moving forward. But when you, for whatever reason, feel like you don't have the capability to do so, and you shut down, and you pivot and you spiral, well, we know that doesn't really get you anywhere, just further down the hole. Um,
Right.
and it just makes it far more painful process than it needs to be. So yeah, I really like that quote.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, going off of that, Virginia, I love your weigh in on that, and I love the insight you've shared. I'd love to get some more insight from you. So before we dive into, the ins and outs of happiness, I'd love to
Mhm.
talk to you just about some of your experiences with happiness.
Yeah,
Um, so I got a couple questions for you. You're in the hot seat.
right. I'm in the
Um,
happy hot seat.
The happy hot seat. I love it. I'm here for it. I love alliteration too, so let's go. All right. So, excuse me, everybody. Getting over a bad winter. I don't know what this is, but I'm good.
Yeah.
Um, so first question I've got for you. So, on the note of happiness, just what are some things that bring happiness into your daily life? This can go as deep or as lighthearted as you want it to be.
No. In my daily life, I would say some kind of physical movement. So whether
Mm,
that be a walk, a hike, a yoga class, a strength training class, any kind of physical movement, because movement is medicine, and movement definitely promotes happiness.
big time. Big time.
Dopamine, serotonin, endorphins, all the happy chemicals. So we can get a little bit more into that too. But yeah, physical movement. And notice how I didn't say anything like, going hard or like a kick-ass workout. I didn't say that. I just said physical movement.
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely, I think, in my daily happiness habits. Another one I love my morning routine. So I love that I know I'm going to have a nourishing breakfast and my cup of coffee and spending some time with my husband before our workday gets really busy. So I love that. That brings me a lot of happiness. I also love the work that I do.
Mm,
So the work that I do is very much aligned with me, and even though it comes with maybe some stress and it comes with being busy and trying you know to get organized and to navigate like being a business owner and having a business, all that, it's still such to me amazing work that it just makes me happy and it makes me want to get up every morning and get at it. Um,
that's beautiful.
so that I love, makes me happy. I love when I get to work with people and they are just coming up with their own connections and realizations in their day-to-day life, because it no longer means they're on autopilot, which is so great. It means they're really tapping into their subconscious. They are asking questions and questioning everything and opening up. That brings me a great deal of happiness too. And I would say too, like my quality time with my stepkids, that brings me a lot of happiness. Their laughter brings me happiness. But probably the ultimate happiness hack for me, any chance I am out in nature, any
Oh,
chance I get, I am
yeah.
so happy to be out there. So yeah, those are some of my daily
Oh.
um, happy sources of happiness.
Oh, that's beautiful. You definitely hit the nail on a lot of things that we're going to be talking about when it comes to some habits and
Hmm.
just some different things that people can start to, kind of include in their daily or even just weekly, routines or whatever. So I love it. That's awesome.
Awesome.
Um, so here's another thought. So let's think about days that you're feeling low.
Hmm.
Um, what are some things that, you do or just tell yourself maybe
Yeah.
if maybe you can't, maybe you don't have time to like incorporate some activity or whatever. Like
Right.
how do you handle things like that?
Yes. I think not having an all or nothing mindset.
Mm, okay.
I think it goes back to what we talked about earlier, and that's pivoting and readjusting your expectations of yourself for that day.
Okay.
And it doesn't mean you're less than, and it
Yeah.
doesn't mean you are not still showing up. It just may be like, as simple as like, okay, I wasn't able to do all that, but I was able to do a little bit of this. And
Hmm.
I have only enough energy for that. And you're going to have to just be okay with that and secure with yourself in that.
Okay. I love that. Finding joy in the little moments, the
Hmm.
getting there moments, not the I have to go from 0 to 100 a day, and if I don't if I only make it to 65, I fail, like not pushing yourself to the extreme, pushing yourself, of course,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
not just completely losing yourself over it. Yeah.
Yes.
Big
Yeah.
time. Big
That's a very
time.
important distinction, and enjoying the process and
Mm-hmm.
not making it about the final result or outcome. That will bring
Mm-hmm.
you way more happiness.
I love that. I love that. I know some people for sure who have made it all about just the goal itself and not
Uh,
I'm not I've for sure been one of them, but
I
I
was one of those people for a very long time. It was all about the outcome, the result.
I see you, chocolate bear. I see you.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was me for almost all of my 20s. And if we want to, Caitlin, if you want to dive more into that, happy
Yeah.
to be open and transparent about it, because I also, and we'll probably be touching on this, but I don't want people feeling bad for happiness not being a second nature to them.
Mm, absolutely.
So I'm happy to speak about those times in my life where happiness was not my go-to
Yes.
for a long time. So,
Yes, absolutely. No, and I'm so glad you brought that up. I'm sure we will be, mentioning it's not all black and white. There's so many
right.
gray areas.
Yeah.
We will be talking about that, just kind of throughout this episode. I do want to say, just as kind of a disclaimer as well,
Mm-hmm.
yes, this episode is about happiness, but this episode is not here to shame someone who's listening and is going through perhaps a deep state of depression or
Mm-hmm.
anxiety, or maybe they're mourning a loved one, or perhaps there's someone who is ill in the family. There could be a million different things that you're all going through. And this episode is not here to say, suck it up, Buttercup, why don't you smile? That's not what this is. We are here to help, of course, provide hacks and tips on how to just make your daily life happier, and just hopefully make positivity a mindset in your life. However, we also understand, and we've talked about this before, there are things like toxic positivity.
Mm-hmm.
And there are, people who grow up in families where it's like, we don't talk about our emotions. We don't talk about if something's wrong. And that's not what this is. So disclaimer, if you are going through something, this may not be the episode for you right now, and that's okay. This may be triggering. That's okay. This may be an episode you want to come back to later when you are
Mm-hmm.
just feeling ready to just kind of live a more, normal life and you're not going through a roller coaster of a time. So just keep
Yes.
this in your back pocket. If that's you, we are here for you as well. There are several, if not more than several, other episodes out there that we've done that would probably be better, attuned for what you're going through. And Virginia, being the life coach that she is, she's always here to just kind of provide her insight, and she's got so much expertise. So I won't harp on that anymore. I just wanted to get that out there, just so no one listening thinks, well, okay, I want to be happy, but all this is going on right now. And listen, that's
Yes.
okay. That's been me. That's been Virginia, and it will be us again at some point in our lives because that's how life works. So we get it.
That is, Caitlin, greatly appreciated, even from me and hopefully from our viewers. And what you just said about, like, the intention behind listening to a podcast episode on happiness or reading a book about happiness. To Caitlin's point, yes, timing might be very helpful because you may not be mentally, emotionally, spiritually open to absorbing that content. Here's a prime example. I got this little book years ago called 1000 Plus Little Things Happy, Successful People Do Differently. Now, I gravitated toward the book because this is what I struggle with: happiness
Mm-hmm.
and success. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I'm reading the book and I'm going like this for those who are watching. Womp, womp, womp. Whatever.
it in the trash.
And you could be doing the same thing listening to this podcast. Womp, 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 turning off. They don't know what they're talking about, blah. Fast forward years later to this little book when Caitlin mentioned that she wanted to do a podcast episode on happiness. I immediately thought of this, grabbed it from my bookshelf that's behind me. I started skimming through it. I went, yes, that's it. Yes. It's like, how cool is that? It's my own growth. It came to me at the time I really needed it the most. And that's what it's about, people.
Timing is everything. Absolutely. And Virginia, I didn't know that about that book. I love this. Like, I love this. Girl. Yay. Girl.
This dog.
I'm sorry, I can't get over the Scrubs thing.
It's just too great.
No, I love this so much, and I'm happy that you even had the book and you thought to pick it up, and that's so cool. And I will say too, you know, Virginia, she just said, you know, as we've gone over, I chose this episode or topic for this episode, and a reason behind it, well, a number of reasons. I think it's relatable, but I also think the beginning of the year, especially January, I experience, you know, seasonal depression, and I also just kind of feel, I don't even know if you'd call it depression. I just don't feel myself, or, you know, I'm bummed the holidays are over, it's darker, you know, all these things, which I guess the darker part would be seasonal depression. But so, you know, my whole thought is, I know every year when the new year hits off, it's like, all right, this is going to be my year. I'm going to be so happy. And we say that kind of every year, right? And it maybe doesn't go so well. Or we're not really sure how to do that. So we just kind of, it just kind of stalls, right? And we just kind of go business as usual with our lives. So I thought, for a number of reasons, you know, being that it's winter, it's dark out, people are kind of in a crummy mood sometimes with the holidays being over, you know, whatever. I thought this could be a cool concept. So we'll park that where it is right now. We'll talk a little bit more about winter later in the episode. But I have one more question for you right now before we kick off a lot more things, Virginia, and that is, how does happiness look now in your 30s compared to how happiness looked in your 20s?
Great question. Great question. Throughout my 20s, I was chasing happiness in an external source. Okay. So examples of that could be job, a car, a relationship. And I'm not saying that any of that can't contribute to your happiness, but it's going to be very temporary and it's going to be very fleeting. So you're constantly chasing it. And you're never fully satisfied or happy with what you have. And you're always, you know, kind of just, on that dopamine chase. And again, I'm not saying that going after any of those things or striving for any of those things is necessarily bad. But I think it's necessary to question why you even want it, and why would it even bring you happiness?
Do some soul searching, yeah.
Yeah. So in my 30s, you know, it may be like, well, I just want to lose some weight, or I want to, you know, gain some muscle, or, you know, and then I'll be happy. And it's like, okay, but why? Why is it then you'll be happy and not happy now? So why would all of a sudden you would just have a completely different outlook on your life once you've achieved whatever a goal you are trying to accomplish that is supposedly going to bring you happiness? So in my 30s, I've realized, like, okay, I'm all for setting goals for myself, but I'm going to figure out my why. Why am I setting this goal? And is it more like because it's expected of me, it's something I'm supposed to be doing, or maybe I did associate it with some kind of, you know, like and I'll be really happy, like once I look like this or act like this, or, um, versus like, okay, is it aligned though, like with my soul? Like, is
Mm-hmm.
this gonna bring happiness to my soul? I'm
Mm-hmm.
all about the soul work in my 30s than I did my 20s, which shifts happiness greatly because it is coming from more of this deep rooted spirituality, the practice of happiness. And that's what I've noticed so far in my 30s compared to my 20s. Do I still strive for certain things in my 30s? Absolutely. But it's not the brand new car. It's not the bigger house. It's not going to Paris one day with my husband. Do I think those things would be wonderful to experience? Sure. Do I think they're going to bring me this like deep rooted happiness? No.
I
No,
love
that
that.
comes from within. That
Yes.
comes from within.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that. I love so much of what you said about, when you're younger, chasing after these things that it's not that they don't mean anything, but they don't
Mhm.
mean what you think they're going to. The
Right.
emphasis we put on these, so many material things or status things. And to your point, sure, like they can be nice and we're not
Mhm.
shaming, oh, you have a nice car, poo poo. Like that's not it. Excuse me, everybody. But what we are saying to your point, Virginia, is that, you know, those things are not really going, that happiness is not attainable. It's not, it's gonna be a one and done, okay, great, now what kind of a thing
Mhm.
eventually. I also love what you talked about when you were saying, oh, if I get this, then I'll be happy. I
Mhm.
can't tell you how many times I've said, if I look at a scale and it's X pounds lighter, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
If that person calls me back, I'll be happy.
Mhm.
If I get that job, I'll be happy. If I find that dress at the store that I wanted, I'll be happy.
Mhm.
Okay, like
Yeah.
sure, maybe for a moment, but it's the amount of stress and effort and the
Oh.
time we waste almost obsessing over these things sometimes. And it's, listen, if you're in your early 20s and you're listening, like I think it's kind of a rite of passage. So like I'm not telling you you're doing it wrong. I think the older we get, the more we just kind of learn,
Yeah.
through life experience. So no matter your
Absolutely.
age, there's no real right or wrong way to do it. I think it just looks different during different seasons of life. So
Mhm. Great
thank
question.
you. Thank you, Virginia. I love this. And we're gonna keep you in the hot seat throughout little bits of this, I'm sure. But we're gonna move on to what even is happy. What does that mean? We
Yeah.
use this word all the time, but how do we define it, right? So, happy, according to dictionary.com, super fancy of me, I know, to look it up there. A couple definitions popped up. So the first was delighted, pleased, or glad over a particular thing.
Mhm.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
Then we've got contentment or joy. Okay, okay. And then lastly, we've got favored by fortune,
Hmm.
fortunate, or lucky. Now, to me, that last one kind of suggests, oh, you're fortunate, you're lucky, like almost as if happy is a rarity. To be happy is like, oh wow, that's you're one of the lucky ones, something like that.
Mhm.
And I just thought that was kind of interesting because I think, excuse me, everybody, I think we live in this culture where we are all striving for happiness 24/7. And
Mhm.
if we're happy for maybe an hour or two and then it goes away, we're like, well, what the heck's wrong with me? Why? I'm look at social media. Look at all these people I follow. Look at that girl on TV. Look at this. Look at that. They're happy. Why am I not that way? And we'll talk about
Mhm.
that more in a little bit as to,
Yes.
that mentality, and maybe how that doesn't serve us,
Yeah.
and some other ways of thinking that we can reframe. So we'll park that for right now. But I want to move on from there. Now that we've defined what happy means,
Hmm.
I want to move on and I want to talk about the happiest countries in the world. So this is a thing. So Virginia, there is this annual World Happiness Report. Um, and they literally rank, I don't know, I think I saw 100 countries on the list. They rank the least happy from happiest, or happiest to least happy, I guess I should say. Um, I'm curious, do you have any guesses as to what the happiest country would be?
I feel like from previous years, Denmark ranked number one for a while there for like the
Okay.
happiest people. But that's probably, I'm guessing that's changed. Um,
Actually, you're really not far off.
okay.
So, the happiest country, I'll just, cat's out of the bag, I'll go ahead and answer is Finland, okay?
Finland.
But the second happiest is Denmark, what you just said. So they're
Okay.
not far behind. Then we've got, Iceland, Sweden, Netherlands, a lot of Scandinavian countries on this
Yeah.
list, followed by, Costa Rica, Norway, another Scandinavian country. Some surprising ones for me popped up. Israel, Luxembourg, and Mexico. So those are the
Mm.
top 10, in happiest to, less happy, but they're still the happiest. If you got the top 10 countries right there, that's it. Um, and, I think we've defined happy, right?
Mhm.
But when we're looking at a ranking like this, we have to ask ourselves, okay, so how do you judge happiness,
Yes.
especially in a place? What
Hmm.
factors are they using to take all of these countries into consideration and rank them?
Hmm.
So I won't go over everything on the list because there were a lot of different categories, but some of the things that stood out were social support. So like if you're down and out and you really need something, and like, are you going to get the help you need?
Hmm.
Some other things were freedom. Uh, and then there were other things like generosity.
Hmm.
How generous are the people who live there? What are the positive emotions? What's that ranking look like? How
Hmm.
happy are how positive of a mindset do the people that live there have?
Yeah.
Um, how common is volunteering in that
Hmm.
country? I even saw a category about the likeliness to help a stranger, which I thought was kind of powerful.
That is powerful.
So I don't know. I'll ask you this, and then I'm going to weigh in on it as well. But hearing all of these, like, what does that say to you about just happiness in general and forms of location? Like, is there anything that's kind of standing out to you when you hear those things?
I hear or I sense a lot of community.
Bingo,
I sense a lot of community to generate
bingo.
happiness. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And I would add to that too, on top of community, and I think this kind of maybe goes with what you just said. Happiness is maybe less about ourselves and more about what we're doing for others,
Yes.
which totally flips the switch and
Mm.
turns everything upside down, because I think we're so trained, especially in America, to think of happiness as me, 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 and it can be, right? Like, you obviously, I always say, put your oxygen mask on before you can help the other person next to you with
Right.
their mask. But, and we're going to talk about it more in a little bit, this supports the idea of, have you volunteered? Did you help a stranger? Things like that. Like, how much are you giving back? And
Mm.
how that can really actually boost happiness just in a society. So that was interesting.
Well, it's actually very much similar to what mental health is like in other cultures and other
Okay.
communities. And it's not the American way. Let's just put it that way.
Don't we have it so great over here?
It's actually,
Out.
it's less about the following, and I am in no way saying any of this is bad. I've been through it. Caitlin has been through it, and we can speak on it more in future episodes of mental health.
Mm-hmm.
However, it's less about diagnosis. It's less about labels. It's less about medication. It's more about getting back to the basic pillars of our overall well-being, and that includes community. That includes being part of something bigger than yourself. Mental health here in America, even though we've made lots of strides and we continue to do so, it used to be very taboo for a very long time, and that was just as detrimental to people. That I feel like we swung in a completely different direction where it's all we talk about, and it's become very self-indulgent and very me. So if you're hearing it and you're hearing something totally different, I understand, because I used to be that person too when it came to mental health. However, this is why we expose ourselves, though, to how other countries and communities are approaching this matter. And so happiness, mental health, since they go together, it is very, if anything, I just hope it just gives some fresh perspective.
Absolutely.
If what you're currently doing is working for you, fantastic. If you're curious about what else is out there and what's more to life, I encourage you to just keep listening.
If you're curious, we're your girls. We're here. Yeah. We got you. Thank you, Virginia. I appreciate that. Well, okay, so we've gone over these other countries and, the top ones. We've gone over, some different factors that, help with the rankings and everything. Virginia, where do you think the United States ranks on this list? So, to give you a better idea, there were 100 countries in total on this list. So,
oh gosh. Well, it's crazy because we are such an abundant nation, and yet people are on the struggle bus every single day.
Yeah,
crazy. Which has a huge impact on your mental health and your happiness. I'm gonna say like maybe in the 50s or 60s out of 100.
So actually, on the bright side, we're way higher than that. Yes.
Okay.
But to be honest, if someone had asked me that question, I probably would have said around the same as you. So I think you answer that in a realistic mindset, just given the climate that we are experiencing in our society. Good guess, in all honesty. The answer, we actually rank 24th out of 100.
Wow.
So it's really
okay.
Not as bad as it could be.
Not as bad. Which I'm just gonna go for it. And for those who are totally getting where I'm coming from, awesome. And if not, I know I'm a crazy person. Is it possible that I responded that it could be like in the 50s or 60s because of what I see in the news and on social media and what's being programmed to me and what's being said to make me think that we are just in this awful dystopian?
I am so glad you said that. Yes, because we are being kind of mini side tangent here, but yes, we are being totally just coerced and brainwashed to think that the world is a million times worse than it is. Is the world great? Absolutely not. Are there problems out there? A million times over. However, your algorithm wants you to really just dive deep into the bad, all the bad news, and a lot of the exaggerations. Your algorithm and just the media in general has found that bad news gets way more attention than good news. Bad
Absolutely.
news sells a lot better than good news. Bad
Absolutely.
news captivates and gets people to want to read more and scroll more and share more and comment more and cyberbully more and everything under the sun. So,
Yeah.
yeah, Virginia, that is an amazing point, and I am so glad you brought that up. I didn't even think about that, but I have had that on my heart for a while now as to, wow, my Instagram wants me to think that just everything is just gone to hell in a handbag. So, yeah,
Hmm.
for sure. For sure.
I thank you for even like, going into all that, because once you said, well, actually we rank, it was number 24,
Yes. Yes.
my brain immediately went to that. Oh, I think I see what's going on here. Well played, media. Well played.
Touche.
Tootsie. But yeah, that's interesting because that's a
Yes.
statistic based on some facts and some data. So
Right.
very interesting.
Well, so obviously it could be worse, right?
Right, right, right.
But it could be better.
Yes.
So,
Top 10.
so let's talk about why we get it wrong, and ways we get it wrong.
Yes.
So
Let's talk about that.
there's a number of things, and I don't just mean us in America, just in general, right? But Western civilization, there's a number of things that we tell ourselves will make us happy.
Mhm.
Um, Eating junk food. You watch a commercial, you watch a McDonald's commercial, how happy do they look when they're biting into that Big Mac, right? And
Super
of course,
happy.
the kids' meals, they have apples with the chicken nuggets. So like, oh, it's not that bad for
It's
little Timmy
balanced.
and Sally.
Mhm.
Like, uh, we indulge. We indulge. It's comforting. Listen, I'm not saying never do it, but we do it way too much.
Mhm.
That is one path to a major, major future of unhappiness and a lot of health issues and
Yes.
just a mess of things. And I'm not here to shame anybody. I'm just here to say this is one way where we, our society almost has us programmed to like, just, oh, order DoorDash, do this, do that, you'll be fine, whatever. Like junk food. That is a big way that we often get it wrong. Um,
Absolutely.
Material things. Virginia and I were just talking about this. You touched upon it, Virginia, especially in your 20s. Like, oh, I'm gonna get that car. I want that house. I want this. Do we need a car? Sure. Do we need a house or a place to live? Absolutely. But telling ourselves that that is going to be our one track way to happiness is only going to blow up in our faces.
Yeah.
That is not the end all be all. And that's not like the thing to just strive for and not have anything else really that you're wanting or hoping for in life. Um, Lounging around all day.
Mm.
So maybe not the best time to point out that that's bad now that it's winter because we do have less, maybe, not resources, but less ability to be outside a lot or, but just staying on the couch all day, not getting up. Sure, I've done it. Sure, I'll do it again. But to just make that a kind of life habit, a sedentary lifestyle, to your
Mm.
point earlier, Virginia, when I asked you, what are some things that you do, some habits and activities that bring happiness into your daily life? First thing you said was movement.
Mhm.
Beautiful, beautiful. We love it. Another way we get it wrong, canceling plans repeatedly.
Oh.
Um, Listen, I know you millennials out there, we revel in the canceled plans. I get it. Sometimes there is just that weird feeling of, oh, you can't make it. that's okay. Oh, we'll reschedule. And then it never gets rescheduled. Or, oh, I'm so sorry. I had a thing come up. Or, oh, like there's a really weird feeling. And not everybody gets that. I have gotten it before in the past. Sometimes it just feels good to be like, I'm not going anywhere. Not happening today.
Yeah.
But the thing about that is that we make that often a pattern, especially in our high tech, social media first, communication where it's like, I'll talk to her later, I'll text her, all this, all that, whatever. Canceling plans, not the best. If you have to do it, 100%, you got to do it. I'm not saying never do it. But the thing is, we are wired for socialization. We are wired for community. Virginia mentioned that earlier. Communities is key. We need to have these core people in our lives. So just something to think about. Another way that we get it wrong, outdoing or outshining others. So doing something, I have in my notes here, keeping up with the Joneses, right? So like, oh, my neighbor got that. I don't mean to keep mentioning cars, but my neighbor got that Mercedes Benz. Well, I'm going to get the latest BMW, or whatever. Or, oh, she went to Cancun for, 3 days. Well, I'm going to go so and so. Like, look, like just trying to just one up people. And I think a lot of us do this subconsciously. It's not like we're out here making a list of all the stuff people are doing and then all the ways we can do it better. But I think that, when we have that mindset, all of our motives are wrong. And we're losing sight of just the real intention of being grounded in our daily lives.
Yeah.
A couple more here. Chasing highs via accomplishments. So Virginia, you mentioned that. We really need to celebrate the journey. Celebrate the journey. Celebrate the workout. Don't celebrate. Sure, celebrate losing X pounds if you want to get healthy or if whatever it might be. But don't only let yourself be happy then, because you're never going to really be happy.
Right.
Celebrate how great you did at that workout. Celebrate how you made yourself go to the gym when you didn't want to.
Yes.
I consider that a win. In fact, I will treat myself to like, I don't know, something dumb if I make myself go to the gym when I don't want to go. Like,
yes.
It's a thing.
Well, working out is a hard thing.
Yeah.
So whether it's to lose weight, whether it's to build muscle, I mean, whatever your goals are, it's doing a hard thing.
Absolutely.
And doing hard things actually create happiness for yourself. Like doing hard things, challenging yourself, and you are rewiring your brain by doing that. Actually, you're creating new neural pathways, so your brain can associate with that hard thing and associate happiness with it. Like, how cool is that?
That makes sense.
Like, it's so cool. And so, and that's the thing about with working out, there are no shortcuts. You either do the thing or you don't do the thing. And you may not have the 100% energy to pour into that workout or even just, that walk. So instead of a 30, 45-minute walk, you do just a 10-minute walk. Instead of that, 30 to 45-minute, intense workout, maybe you do like a 10, 15-minute stretch. Whatever it is, you are still showing up for yourself. You are still choosing something hard, and you pivot it, super important, and you didn't back down from it. You just generated so much happiness for yourself by doing that. And you are proving to yourself, you're collecting data about yourself like, oh, gosh, I was able to do that even though I didn't feel great. I had all these other things going on, and I easily could have not done that workout. And even if you skipped it, because you end up having a bunch of things going on. And I gotta say, with working out, which sometimes can be like a whole other job with recovery, with hydration, with sleep, with nourishment. And if you feel like that you're gonna like kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? kind of slack on all those things and you just want to focus on what's in front of you, hey, that's fine too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, uh, it's kind of like you're not a failure by any means and punishing yourself for not, you know, being able to commit to whatever it was because you had all these other commitments and obligations going on. Um,
Absolutely.
so, you know, it still goes back to like, you know, okay, what can I do in this moment? And if you are getting an inner voice that's going like, hey, if we do this, this is really going to tax us and put us over. We are not going to be able to sleep like we want to sleep. We are going to be running on empty all day tomorrow. We already have a really early day, an early start. How about we just skip it for now? We've got these
Mm-hmm.
other things going on. You're going to be just fine. And you're not going to put yourself out and get sick and then not be at the gym or doing your home workout for the next couple weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen to your body. Listen to your body. 100%, Virginia. And then the last thing I have on here, as far as ways we get it wrong, is focusing on or just letting our pessimistic thoughts
Mm.
consume us. And
Mm-hmm.
I know it's not easy. I realize you can't control a thought once you get that thought. Thoughts are organic, but you can control how much energy and time and focus you put on that thought.
Mm-hmm.
So, and too often, I should say too, pessimistic thoughts become self-fulfilling prophecies.
Mm-hmm.
If you expect the day is going to go poorly, it's probably going to go poorly. Whereas, if you wake up and you think, you know what? One, I'm alive another day. And two, I don't know, that meeting that I'm kind of nervous about later, it might not be that bad. And I'm only human. It could be way better if you take that
Mm-hmm.
route. If you tell yourself, oh my gosh, I got this, I got that, it never ends, da 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 da, that is going to be a reality.
Yeah.
And I've said this before in other episodes, our thoughts dictate our reality. They
Mm-hmm.
dictate our present, which of course dictates the choices we make and the future we have. So,
Mm-hmm.
happiness is a mood. Moods change, right?
They sure do.
Positivity is a choice
Mm-hmm.
and a mindset. So
Yes.
positivity can actually almost be a lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
You can still have bad things happen to you. We all do. No one's going to be happy all the time or positive all the time and never have a bad day in their life. But studies have shown that um, the people who choose to kind of see more of a glass half full,
Mm-hmm.
um, perspective, typically are more adaptive. They face challenges better, and they have less negative things to say about the bad situation that they were in once they came out of it.
Yes.
So it's just pretty fascinating. And I'm not saying that stuff is easy to do. I myself get very, very caught up in a spiral of negative thoughts often, and it's a work in progress for myself, so this is helpful information for me too.
Yes.
But the times that I have tried to think positive or tried to just be, what could go right kind of thing, typically my day's a lot better. Now, I'm not saying, again, disclaimer, there are many heavy, heavy things out there that people can be dealing with. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just the daily grind of the, regular. I'm not talking about anything that's super, super, I'm trying to think of how to phrase this, Virginia, but I think you understand what I'm saying. There are some really, really intense things that people can be dealing with, and
Yes.
I'm not saying apply this to that. That is very different, and that is not what this episode is about. So please don't take offense if that's on your plate right now. And like I said earlier, if that is, this just might not be your episode for right now, and that's
Mm-hmm.
okay. timing is everything, and
Yes.
it'll find you when it's meant to find you.
And
um,
I think too, I had a coaching session before our podcast, and I was talking to my client about like, you absolutely can acknowledge something that might be stressful or that is stirring up negative thoughts and feelings, like, or the what if scenarios is like, well, what if this happens and what if that goes wrong and blah, blah, blah. You absolutely can acknowledge like anything can happen.
mm-hmm.
It's out of your control. Anything
Absolutely.
can happen. However, you can still practice that mindset of like, but I think this is going to be a really great meeting with so and so.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to bring this up. I'm really curious what they're going to have to say, even though you may have anxiety, you may have stress, and those are all very valid, but you are still pushing through all of that.
Yes.
You're acknowledging it. You're not like going like, I am so brave and I am like, I am not, nervous about this at all, even though you're sweating bullets and you're fidgeting and like, you're like, excuse me, I need to go to the bathroom. You're acknowledging that it's there and that's okay. It's just not stopping you because you are still setting yourself up for something that could go really right too. And you'll never know that though if you don't show up for it.
Mm. Wonderfully said. Wonderfully said, girl. This is why you're a life coach. Perfect. Couple phrases that we say too often, unfortunately, just in our daily lives that, in my opinion, are toxic and don't do us a service when it comes to happiness in the long run.
Okay.
One I hear all the time: just do what makes you happy. Okay. Um, what makes me happy right now, or what's going to make me happy in the long term? What makes me happy right now, is that going to actually be good for me? And we just went over all these ways that we get it wrong, and I'm sure there's dozens more that I don't have on the list. So, and also, what makes me happy? Is that going to hurt a lot of people? Is it worth it if it hurts a lot of people? Now, maybe if it's setting boundaries that are necessary,
Right.
but that's not always the case. It's not always black and white. Just do what makes you happy. Okay. Okay, great. Another phrase: as long as it makes you happy, that's what matters. That's kind of goes with that other one, but it's like nails on a chalkboard for me. And then this one is more just for giggles, but it came across my mind when I was researching this, and I thought, this has been grained in our brains since we were kids. And they lived happily ever after. So from the time we were, 2, 3 years old hearing these fairy tales,
Easily.
we've been told that, yeah, every ending in your life should mean happiness always, happy ever after. And granted, listen, I love me a good fairy tale. I'm not knocking them, but like it just kind of made me laugh. So
That is really true though, and part of our programming and why we probably put such emphasis on those big external sources like a wedding day.
yes.
For the bride especially. It's the end all be all. Everything after that is living happily ever after. Okay, that's interesting. So this past year, it was around springtime. One of our local churches put on a dinner theater show, which was really cool.
Okay.
So they did a play, but you got served, like a 3-course meal during the play. But it was, I think, I'm gonna probably get the name wrong, but it was something about like basically not happily ever after. And they went into kind of like the realism in everyday life for people. So they put it was a fairy tale land, and the main gal was kind of like this journalist from the real world, and then you come to find out why she might have been a little bit more pessimistic, because she went through a great loss, and so she's like interviewing these fictional fairy tale characters, and she's got them questioning even like, oh, well, is it really happily ever after? And like one in particular was really struggling with it, which was Cinderella. And it was just really, really eye-opening. And I thought it was actually really refreshing because people are so fixated on happiness
Yes.
and being in one constant state all the time that anything other than that is less than.
Mm,
Which is really sad if you
it
think
is.
about it. And it limits you. It limits you. We have this full range of emotions. And you're just going to limit yourself to just one because you're the most
Uh-huh.
comfortable with that?
Mm,
Oh, man. We're missing out on so much more that this life offers.
and you really can't appreciate the happy
Right.
unless you feel all the other things.
Mm-hmm.
So, wow, Virginia, I love. Was it? It wasn't Into the Woods, was it? The
It wasn't
play?
in the woods. I can
Okay.
probably dig it up and find it, and then if I do find it, I'll include it in the notes. Like just
Okay.
it can be something to look into. Like maybe I can find like the direct link or something just to like the synopsis of it. But
Yeah.
I'm looking back and I'm like, oh yeah, like it's
That
really
is so
eye-opening.
cool.
Yeah, it was very
Honestly.
cool.
We need more stuff like that.
I think so too. I really do. Yeah. I hope it opens more doors actually for more things like that, whether it's a play, a book, a
Yes.
movie. But yeah.
I want to see the Disney movie after Cinderella and the prince get together
Yes.
and he learns more about her than just her shoe size, Like let's talk about
Yes.
that.
Yep.
All right. Well, for the sake of time here,
Hmm.
we're gonna move on to we're gonna make it a happier note, and we're going to talk about some habits and some hacks of the happiest people, backed by research.
Yes.
So we're not just pulling this out of our brains. These are things that have been proven by psychologists and scientists and all sorts of studies. Just what are the happy people in the world doing? What
Hmm.
what what sort of activities and mindsets do they have? So I'm going to take us through. I've got 10 things here on my list, and I know Virginia has some little hacks of her own. So if you want to, I don't know if it makes sense for you to just kind of chime in when you want, Virginia, or if you want to do yours after mine. You set the scene. Whatever feels best for you, you just jump in. But the first one on my list that I've got so habits of incredibly happy people. I've got 10 of them. Number one, happy people slow down to appreciate life's little pleasures. So
Hmm.
we get so caught up in our routines as it's easy to do. And honestly, happy people do things like take time to savor the taste of a home cooked meal. Step outside when it's a busy day and just breathe in some fresh air, hear the birds chirping, look at all the flowers that are blooming, look at something that they've not seen before or noticed before, whatever. Reflect on an incredible conversation that they just had. Really, really emphasize those meaningful little things in life that can too often pass us by if we're not paying attention.
Hmm.
Number two, they exercise. I'm going to leave this one as it is. We've talked about this so much. But, well, I will say too, my notes and my research, even 10 minutes of movement a day can make
Hmm.
a world of difference.
Yes.
So, number three, they spend money on other people.
Oh.
So this is not to say, oh, I got my paycheck. 20% goes to this person, 50% to that person, and the rest goes to so and so. Of course, you need to pay your bills, do your things, whatever. But this could look like, maybe you're at the bookstore and you see a book that you just know your sister or your best friend or, whoever would love, and you think of them and you buy it, that is something that, it's thoughtful, it's meaningful, and it actually studies show that we're happier when we, spend our resources, whether it's money or, what have you, on our loved ones, the people in our community, in our life.
Yeah.
Number 4, happy people surround themselves with happy people.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that doesn't mean, oh, my friend's going through a breakup, I'm not going to talk to her.
Right.
He's going to kill my vibe. Or, oh, so-and-so lost their job or had a bad day. Talk to me when you're okay. No.
Right.
However, we need to make note here that happiness is contagious, and so is negativity. So it's a matter of, who do you have in your corner? Who are you keeping in your circle? Let's think about secondhand smoke, for example, right? I know it's kind of a weird thing to throw in here, but we all know that's dangerous. We all know that's a toxic thing. If you had the choice to sit outside, fresh air, on a beautiful day with some loved ones and enjoy the moment, take in the day, or sit in a room with no windows, no doors open, and a bunch of chain smokers, and you're there all day long, which would you pick? So that is the, I guess, symbol or example I'm going to use, comparing a positive friendship, relationship, what have you, to a negative one.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean, oh, you're having a bad day, bye-bye. I just mean if it's a constant or if it's a pattern, maybe do some thinking about your relationships and the boundaries you set.
Yes.
Moving on here, and then I definitely want to hear yours, Virginia. Number 5, happy people stay positive. So we talked about how, of course, there are things like toxic positivity. I understand that's not what this is. This is just about trying as much as possible to have a positive mindset.
Mm-hmm.
When something bad happens, maybe, you were going to go outside and do something amazing today, maybe have a picnic, but it's going to pour all day. So you can do one of two things. You can complain about it, and you can just think, wow, this ruined my day, this sucks. Nothing ever goes the way I want it to go. Well, it serves me right. This is how everything always happens in my life. Mm-hmm. You can complain and make that your whole thing. Or you can reframe it and think, all right, well, that just means I'm going to build a fort in the living room today. Or I'm going to have my friends over for a movie day. Or I'm going to do that amazing thing that I've been putting off for so long because I've been, bombarded by XYZ.
Are you pivoting?
You just might be pivoting if you do that. You just might be. Chocolate bear. Number 6, they prioritize sleep. I think that kind of doesn't need any more explanation. Number 7, deep conversations. Happy people prioritize deep conversations. Doesn't mean that they're not able to talk about the weather or the game last night or whatever, but they make time and effort for the things that are heart to heart, those types of conversations. And they have people in their inner circle who do as well.
Yes.
Number 8, they help others. This was an interesting statistic. A study at Harvard showed employees who helped others were 10 times more likely to be focused at work and 40% more likely to get a promotion. Kind of interesting.
That is interesting.
This study also showed that those people are more likely to be happy during times of stress. Number 9 on the list, the happiest people make an effort to be happy. So I guess the meaning behind this habit, I guess I should say, is that happy people know that happiness is something to work at. You don't just wake up, clapping your hands, whistling, ready to skip off and go to work. Happiness is a skill.
Yes.
It's something that you have to train yourself at and get better at. It's not something that we just innately have in us. Always,
Yes.
I should say. Sometimes it hits, but I think you get it.
It
Uh,
reminds me a lot of our gratitude episode because
yes,
gratitude is also a daily practice.
absolutely, Virginia. Absolutely. And then the last one on here, number 10, and I do have a bonus one, but I can get to that after your hacks if you want. Um, Number 10 on this list is the happiest people have a growth mindset.
Mm. Yes.
So it sounds like common sense, but the more I read into this, I read and it totally tracks. There are two mindsets that, most people have in life. And it's not a constant, sometimes they change,
Hmm.
but you can have a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. So, fixed mindset would be my life and who I am, it's never going to change.
Hmm.
This is it. I don't like that part. I don't like that part. I don't like where I live. I don't like that. I don't like this, whatever. That's it. It
Yeah.
sucks. I hate it. That is a fixed mindset. It can never get better type of thing.
Hmm.
Growth mindset. You believe that you and your circumstances can improve. They won't improve overnight, but they can
Right.
improve with effort.
Yes.
Therefore, the growth mindset. And with that mindset, you are much more inept
Hmm.
to handle challenges at ease. They're still going to be stressful, they're still going to be challenging, but you're going to handle them in a much more adaptive manner.
Yes. Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Oh, I love this. It has me more thinking of the person I used to be. I had
Mm,
very much a fixed mindset for a very
oh,
long
girl.
time, and
Oh,
I played the victim narrative for a very long time and fixated on the external things that would make me happy. So it's just so and Caitlin and I are sharing this because if you're listening and you feel like you're in that season of your life, if anything, I just hope that this shows that growth is possible
yes.
and that we encourage it. So if you feel like you don't have anybody in your circle who really encourages it, I hope we can be in your circle. Because it does change the trajectory of your life path greatly
Big
with a
time.
growth mindset. There are far more possibilities than limitations. I do think the universe really opens up for you too, because if you have a fixed mindset, then you have fixed lens. You're only going to see life
Mm-hmm.
a certain way, and maybe only that way.
Mm-hmm.
But when you grow your mind, you kind of filter out your lens too, and then you see a whole new world. I know it sounds really like a whole new world, like once again another like fairy tale. Um, but it's pretty remarkable. And I think in future episodes, I'd love to open up more about this journey that we've been on. But
Absolutely.
this is great. You pretty much covered everything, Caitlin, so thank you so much for taking the time to research that and look into it. The only thing I think I'm going to mention, and then I'm just going to leave it for anyone who is curious to finding out more. But there's a podcast I listen to called the Liz Moody Podcast, the wellness podcast. I really like her because she's very science backed. She's got that curiosity mindset. She comes from a family therapist as well, and she is somebody that's just really worked on these things. And happiness is one of those things she's had to work on. So all the people she's had on her podcast to discuss happiness, she came up with these 4 hacks. I won't get into all of them because I want to leave you some, for you to look into yourself if you're curious. But I will mention this one thing. It's not necessarily a hack. It was more of like a tip on looking for more joy in your daily life. And since for those of us who can relate, depending on where we live, we're in winter season. So this was creating a joy list, a seasonal joy list, is the tip. And so what that kind of means is like for winter, for example, what to look forward to in the winter season. So maybe that's curling up with a good book. Maybe that is going for a walk. Maybe that is drinking like your tea. Just things like that that will bring you micro joys in your daily life to get you through that season. So I thought that was really cool because Caitlin, I know you mentioned it earlier, but talk about a hard switch to go from the holidays to all of a sudden nothing.
Yeah.
Like, what? And we know it happens every year, and yet we still have to go through the adjustment period, the back to work, the back to school, no more holiday distractions of, the noise of, being festive and celebratory and all the foods and the drinks and the treats and the company and meeting out this person for that cocktail and going to that function. It all comes to a screeching halt when New Year's is over, reality hits, and we're all just like, oh my God, what did I just go through and why did I look forward to? So happiness, which Caitlin and I are talking, is a daily practice, and finding micro joys in your daily life. So it doesn't have to be all because of the holiday season that you're the most happy, during that time. Maybe it is learning how to be happy during the quiet, darker moments of winter. And what does that really feel and look like for you? Well, it means that I can slow down and not have any guilt about it and create routines for that. So I think in another future episode, we'll talk about habits and routines during winter that will help with happiness and just your overall health.
I love this. Sorry, I can cough again, everybody. Excuse me. My coughing is our guest star today.
It's our guest star. Oh.
No, I love that, Virginia. I am such a person of I love anticipating things. And I think I've said this before, maybe in past episodes, but yeah, I love the idea of having a list of like things to do or look forward to. So I know I'm going to be taking that into my own little, January, February, probably like routine, because it helps so much to just not be like, okay, it's 4:30 and it feels like it's midnight. So now what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I have one bonus,
Yes.
what do we want to call it? Habit, I guess I should say. And I thought of maybe even talking about this more in a future episode, but potentially, seeing how much is out there. But I have one bonus habit that is practiced all year long in Danish and Norwegian just culture. However, I think it's very, very prominent and helpful to apply in the winter. Going off of what you just said, Virginia, just of doing things in the winter. This is something that I think is kind of fun. So maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't. Anyone listening or watching, it's called hygge. It's spelled Hygge. Looks like it should be hygge, but it's actually pronounced hygge. I looked it up.
Not hookah, y'all.
Not hookah. I actually said that one time in a prayer group I was in. I brought it up, and I think they all thought I was like completely off my rocker.
This is great.
Like, girl, we don't do hookah here. And I was like, oh my God.
Like, I could have sworn it was hookah.
It was bad.
Like, you be smoking like that. That's not
right.
This
Well,
is great.
I'll explain. So let's define it, and then I'll explain why I even mentioned it in a prayer group in the first place, so you don't all think I'm completely Looney Tunes.
Oh my
So
God.
hygge is a Danish and Norwegian concept for a quality of coziness, contentment, and well-being through enjoying simple pleasures and good company. So it also involves creating warm, comfortable atmospheres and just relishing in that.
Hmm.
There's an emphasis on feeling safe, connected, and present. And so, think about that for a minute. And I was with a group of girls that, we were doing a Bible study, and I was like, oh, this is like good hygge. And I meant like feeling connected and feeling this and that. And they're like, what? Like, clutch my pearls. What are you talking about, Caitlin? So, anyways, it was kind of funny, but
That's so
yeah,
funny. I love that so much
right?
that it happened to you because you're the perfect
Of course it
person
did.
for it to happen to. And in a church like group setting is
Oh yeah,
even more perfect.
oh yeah.
I
They're
love
like,
it so much.
girl. So, anyways, so it's a Scandinavian practice,
Mhm.
and it's cited time and time again as a key feature in making Scandinavian region or the Scandinavian region happy, so happy, I guess I should say. So, we saw Finland, we saw Denmark, we saw Norway, we saw these countries that are really high on that happiness list. Well,
Mhm.
this is maybe not the only reason, but it is
Right.
certainly a contributing factor.
Wow.
It's
That's
practiced
pretty amazing.
yeah, right? It's
Yeah.
practiced all year long over there, but it's really great in the winter months. And think about it this way. So, living over there, it's really cold a lot of the time. It's dark
Mhm.
very often. I have a friend who lives in Finland, and she's told me how little sunlight they get, in
Okay.
certain times of the year. Like, just it can be miserable. And
Hmm.
so, you think about the winter in general over here in America, or just anywhere if you're listening from another country. When it's dark and cold outside, what do you want? You want warmth, you want
Hmm.
light, you want contentment and coziness.
Yes.
So that's really what this is all about. Some key principles are togetherness that fosters connection, gratitude. We just mentioned our gratitude episode. Shared experience through community. Having comfort food, cozy drinks,
Mhm.
quiet moments, and good conversation. So, maybe you want to practice some hygge in your daily life. Well, that could include, having a day where, you do crack open a good book and you light some candles and you get
Yeah.
a good blanket and, you have some hot chocolate, or maybe you have a friend over and you put on a comfort movie,
Mhm.
and I will say, Virginia and I both, we don't want to sound contradictory because we were just talking about the importance of movement and of, not staying on the couch all day and whatever. This is something that you shouldn't maybe do 24/7 all day long.
Right.
However, it's a wonderful way to get in tune and in touch with the winter season,
Hmm.
especially. And just let yourself enjoy the little things and focus on the moment itself and just be present and not feel the fast-paced rush that so often is our daily lives that I think takes away from our happiness.
Yes.
So that's
And
my
Caitlin,
bonus one for today.
I love your bonus habit, and you actually mentioned something too about maybe borderline being contradictive. So that had me thinking earlier that I was talking about like showing up for like the hard thing, but
Yeah.
we were also talking about timing
Hmm.
and embracing the season. So it got me thinking when you said that, like, oh, okay, so I mentioned earlier about like the importance of physical movement, especially during winter.
Yeah.
And again, we can create an episode that is about habits and routines during, the winter time, but how important it is to, to show up for that. But I also mentioned like, maybe you do have a lot going on and you really can't commit to that workout or that even just that 10-minute walk. And I mentioned about like, it's very important to not let that be the say all be all, right? And like
Sure.
associate that with your happiness, your overall happiness. The workout, the exercise contributes to your happiness. But I certainly wouldn't want anyone thinking like, okay, so I'm like spinning my wheels here and I feel like I'm being spread thin, and also this is winter and I just don't want to do the hard things. You may feel like winter's already hard enough on your mental health. And so you don't want to join the gym. You don't want to go to those workout classes, even though there is definitely some positivity with it, right? You get out of the house, you get to be around people and all that. So I guess it got my brain thinking like, okay, so you're in winter and you're listening to this and you're like, yeah, and I still don't want to do all those things. That may be more like springtime, where I start signing up for, workout classes or joining my girlfriends, for those power walks or whatever. But right now, I am super content just being in my home, reading, watching movies, watching shows. We're just coming more from a place of balance.
Yeah.
So it may not be the everyday, but if you sprinkle in like a couple of 10-minute walks per week during wintertime, I think you're doing great. If you're that person who is already rocking it and is, going to the gym or doing your at-home workouts and during winter, that's wonderful too. So I hope this isn't any rambling. I'm hoping I'm able to like tie it all back together and just reiterating that Caitlin and I are coming just from a place of balance.
Absolutely.
That's all. So
Well said. Well said. Yes, absolutely. We love our little disclaimers and our little like we always just want you, anyone listening or watching, we want you to know you're loved, you're appreciated, you matter, and none of this has to be an end all be all. Any tips we ever provide, you're in the driver's seat. You are the
mhm,
one that gets to decide when and how, or even if they fit into your life in this season that you're
absolutely,
going through. So,
absolutely,
and it's
beautifully
just
said.
our honor to get to be a part of it and maybe just add some ideas or some little insight into your life. So we're here for it, and we are just so grateful that you could join us today. We are happy you could join us today, I should
We
say.
are we are very
And
grateful.
I'm very grateful. And thank you for all that you have shared, Virginia, Miss Life Coach and Miss Wonderful Podcast co-host, just everything. I appreciate you. You always show up so just amazingly for these talks that we have, and I appreciate it, and I'm sure people who listen are on the same page with me on that too. So before we end, I will say we're going to include our resources in our show notes. So
Yeah.
there's several things that we have referenced today.
Mhm.
Virginia's book that she talked about that she opened now after not wanting to read it for a hot
Yes.
minute.
Yep.
And then there's other things. There's the little book of hygge actually that I love. We can reference that. The World Happiness Report, all the things. So, and if you have any questions or you'd like to hear more, you know how to reach us. We've got all our contact info ready to go for you. And we're just so happy you could join us today. So, whatever you're doing this winter, however you're getting through it, again, you matter. We care about you, and we are happy to be on the journey with you. So, thank you for showing up with us.
Yes, thank you, everyone, and we will see you on the next episode.
Bye, everyone. Take care.
Bye.